Hey guys, Coach Charles here with Fit Health in Herndon, Virginia. And today we're going to be talking about tips and tricks for running your first turkey trot. So most turkey trots are 5K, 3.1 miles. And if you've never run one before, it's really a great deal of fun. There's a bunch of people out there. There's people that are extremely fast and they'll look like they're sprinting the whole way, and then there's people who end up walking most of the 3 miles, and then you have literally everybody in between. Some that can run quite fast, some that are just barely jogging, and other people that are kind of walking along and then jogging, walking and jogging, walking and jogging. And you'll see these little kids sprint past you, and then they stop and go and get up and sprint again. It's really fun. Lots of fun. You get to wear a t-shirt for the event, and then at the end, a lot of times there's food. Some places have beer afterwards. That could be a lot of fun. But a lot of them will have apples, or they'll have bananas, maybe some Cokes, or donuts. I've seen donuts before. Donut tastes pretty good after running a 5K. And also bagels and that type of thing. All right, so your local 5K may be completely different than all the ones that I've done, but they're all really fun. Now, some courses are really hilly and some courses are very flat. Here are some tips and tricks for getting ready for your first one. It's really helpful if you start running a few months beforehand, but if you only end up starting to get prepared a few weeks beforehand, you can still enjoy a 5K. You can still enjoy that event. There's no problem with that. I have another video out on how to get started with your running for a 5K, so check that one out. Released that last week. Now, the first thing I would take a look at is your shoes. You want comfortable shoes that you can run in, that aren't going to rub your feet raw, give you blisters, that type of thing, because you don't want to be worrying about your feet while you're running. And a good pair of socks. You don't want the socks to bunch up under your toes or under your feet, then you feel like you're running on a roll, and that's no fun. You're going to end up having to stop, go over the curb, and readjust your socks. You might have to do that 2 or 3 times. You don't necessarily want to run with brand new shoes, and you don't want to run with really old shoes. I've seen people with soles falling apart on their shoes as they're out for the race. And new shoes may give you blisters if you're not used to them. The next thing about shoes is to make sure you wear shoes that work well with your running style. If you're going to run toe to heel, then you don't want a shoe with a big, huge wedge in the back, your typical running shoe. You would want a flatter shoe, maybe something like a New Balance Minimus, okay? Or running in those Vibram 5-finger kind of shoes. But if you run heel to toe, then you want to make sure you get one of those shoes that has a nice cushion in the heel area, and then you need to figure out whether you need stability shoes or not. And you can go to a local running store, they can watch you walk and they can watch you run, and then they can make suggestions of what the best shoes for you to wear. Okay, so try to go to a local running store and avoid like the places at the malls. You want folks who actually run and work with people who are trying to learn how to run all the time. They will be able to help you find the best shoes for your specific body and how you run. Okay, coming up. Should you wear anything on your knees? Well, some people do. It really just depends on your personal preference. There's a lot of different knee devices out there. Try a few out, see what works best for you. If it's cold, should you wear sweats, upper body and lower body, or should you run in shorts and t-shirts? The thing is, you'll see people running even in just a pair of shorts, no shirt on whatsoever. It's like 35 degrees outside, and you're like, what are they doing? It's crazy. Well, they've probably been doing that a long time. Their body gets nice and hot while they're out and running, and they just don't want to be a sweaty mess, so they're able to do that. Other people you will see running in sweats, a sweatshirt, and then a full body coat. And what happens by the end of the race, or maybe halfway through the race, you see those people taking their coats off, and it's a real pain in the butt. So you probably want to dress as if it's about 20 degrees warmer than the ambient temperature is outside. So if you were typically going to be in 55-degree weather and you would wear a light sweatshirt and maybe a pair of running shorts, then you could probably run in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt during an actual race. Okay, and if it's 35 degrees outside, maybe you dress for if it's like 55 degrees outside. If it's 60 degrees outside, you probably just want to be in shorts and a t-shirt because you're going to get hot. pacing yourself during the race. If you're not capable of running 3.1 miles straight through, that's okay. You can still have a really good time while you're out there. Maybe run half a mile, the first half a mile, and you got the big crowd with you, and you'll have all kinds of energy from the crowd, and it'll be really easy to run that first half mile. And then maybe walk a minute or two, and then run another half mile, okay? And there'll be other people that are kind of doing that are running more slowly. You could do something very specific, like set up a watch. This watch here has a countdown and repeat on it. It's a Timex. You could set it for 1 minute, repeat, so it would go for a minute, you run for a minute, and then it goes beep, 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 and you walk. You walk for a minute, and then it goes beep, 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 and you could run for the next minute. Okay? And other people are going to try and run like the first 2 miles of it, and then walk half a mile, and then run the last 0.6 miles. So any of these methods could work really well for you, and don't be embarrassed if you're not able to run the entire event. There are plenty of people there that are going to end up having to walk. The one that I usually go to has 4,000 or 5,000 people, and there are dozens and dozens and dozens of people who end up walking during the race. It's not a problem at all. Everybody's just out there to have a really good time. What about eating? I get asked a lot about this. Typically turkey trots are in the morning. So if it's at all possible for you, don't eat anything. That way you don't get stomach cramps, you don't feel like you want to throw up. It's better to start running while you're hungry, not starving, right? I mean, if you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and the race isn't until 9:30 in the morning, yes, you could go ahead and eat some food. But if the race is at like 7:30 or something like that in the morning, and you got up an hour beforehand, unless you're just absolutely starving, just try and drink some water and such, because once you get into the race, that hunger will go away and you won't really need to eat. Okay, so that's my recommendation there. At the end of the race, usually there's some food and such there, and people are talking about how they did and the hills and all kinds of different things about on the race. Go over and spend some time with some of the other folks that ran. Bring a friend with you to the race. Even if they're not able to run as quickly as you are, you'll have lots of fun just running with them, talking with them the whole way, and it's really awesome to help somebody complete a race when they didn't think they could, right? And then at the end, grab a bagel or something together, grab an apple together and sit down and talk about the race and all the good times. And then go back and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Okay, so if you're going to run your first 5K, I recommend Turkey Trot because they're lots of fun. And hopefully you can do one this year. There's still time to start training and be able to run, or at least run and walk one, and have a great time. If you have any questions or comments, please put them down below, and I'll get back to you. See you next week. And today we're going to be talking about tips and tricks. Tips and tricks.
You can start over if you want to. I used to.
We were just talking about this earlier about what we were going to call it, and I called it the trips instead of tricks. Anyway.